Alright, Trevor, now we're live.
What? Let me have a look.
Right, so Didar is joining in here as well.
Is a Didar coming?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
User joined your channel.
Hey.
Hey man, did you get the invite?
Hey.
Yeah.
Alright. Are you joining in then? Maybe you're loaded. I think.
I'll try again. Oh, I don't know. It's just said an error occurred.
Ah, okay, alright. Let's hunt again. There we are.
There we go.
Myself referee and then that guy is referee. That won't be enough.
Oh, I really need to tell Blackxored to check out the Facebook page. Did you see it, Dreamus?
Yeah, I did. It was pretty good, man. Bringing the memes back to Starcraft.
Yeah. I haven't even I just found this new website.
Nice.
And
What were you
how to
troll
create
Alexander?
memes. Yes, I did. And I haven't even tapped my creative mind yet.
Yeah.
You sound almost as arrogant as Squiddy, but not quite.
Well, not really, because it's my second day at work today, and one of the systems stopped working, and we all decided to go to the pub at 1 o'clock. That's why I sound so arrogant.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well.
That's what happens when you're an independent contractor. You can just not show up for work if everything stops working. Feels good, man.
Yeah, no. It was my team's idea. It's a great idea, I suppose.
You have a very clever team with
Yeah,
good
I do.
ideas.
Good.
Would you like to introduce the players, gentlemen?
Didar, you can start off.
Alright. And the bottom right corner, playing as Red Zerg and representing the Team Pro, is Gerd.
Hype.
Hype.
And in the top left corner, we got the beautiful, the handsome Mr. Blackxored, representing
I'm not gonna laugh at that.
To be honest, I
Because
had no
it's
idea,
true.
so.
He could be a supermodel for all you know. We don't know.
Yeah,
We just
well,
assume, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
It's just a gamer stereotype, you know? The guy with glasses, scrawny, maybe even a beard and a ponytail.
So,
And
Not
a
all-
ponytail.
Yeah, not all of us can look like Dreamus, you know?
Of course not.
solid.
Yeah.
With the handsome Tor jumper that he's bought off the Tor website.
Indeed.
It's available for only £30.
What a plug! That was a great plug.
Yeah. Hashtag Tar Shop advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, we already
I'll
have
send you the
some
bill.
interesting like difference in builds here, I guess.
Yes,
Bit of an early
we have
pro.
a hatch first.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Black has gotten a huge advantage from this build because you can't punish a hatch first with a pool first unless you cheese. So he's not going to get any advantage out of this. So Black's really far ahead these openers by a few drones at the very least.
Yeah, indeed. Completely agree. So yeah, it will be interesting to see what Jör decides to do with this. But like I think like if you're not like hash first is a bit greedy from Blackxored on this map just because the rust season is so short.
Yeah.
But like it worked out now, so I'm not gonna complain, but it could have been pretty dangerous, basically.
It's interesting that Black is making 6 lings. That's a unusual amount to make. Like, you maybe make 2 for scouting, but 6 is very unusual.
Yeah.
It looks like he's not going to attack with them. He's just going to sit in his base with the 4 lings and send you across the map.
Would you think that he's just waiting for his Baneling Nest to finish and then go for the aggression?
I think so, but he's moving out for a 3rd base now, so maybe not. Maybe it's just a defensive Baneling Nest. It's very odd Gerd's build, because he's not really like rushing a Baneling Nest like this. You're not really worried about anything when opening pool first. There's no reason to rush it out, because he's going to have to use it defensively because he doesn't have any minerals to make lings after this 3rd base comes down.
Yeah. So. But yeah, Blackxored got a good scout off there as well, seeing like a lot what his opponent is doing if he managed to pick up on everything with the timings. So yeah, should be pretty safe.
I was about to say we can see the first remnants of the lead that Black has, because they both had equal supplies, yet Black was making 10 lings rather than just the 4 lings of Gerd a few moments ago, because he has more economy at this point. And he's still making a 3rd base at the exact same time, if not ahead of his opponent.
So, yeah,
he's in a good position. But yeah, the defensive Banelings are coming down, and there's going to be some ling aggression coming, at least from Gerd's side, in a few moments when the lings pop.
Yeah.
You sneaky Banelings, don't get anything done.
So, nice try though. Could have done some good work there.
I find it interesting that Black is the one moving across the map when he has the eco lead, but he's going to move across regardless, and he has a few Banelings coming in as well.
Maybe we want to try to punish that patch, since it is like he said.
Oh, really?
Oh no! He should have manually detonated.
Oh no.
Oh,
that wasn't the best.
No, that was not a good trade.
But I mean, when you're attacking, trading is fine. Because they can't counterattack and do damage to you. Got a ling fight coming down. Looks like Black is not going to quite have enough lings to defend.
Should have zoomed in there.
And Gerd is in a good position now at this point. Because as you can look in the supply, in ZVZ, if you lose lings, you have to remake them in order not to die. Whereas you can make drones instead of making the next wave of lings from Gerd's side if he wanted to. And he's starting to make drones now, even though he has a ling lead. So he's going to be in a good position after this aggression, as long as he doesn't mess up this fight, coming up on the 3rds.
Oh, this.
He has a few Banelings.
Yeah, he does. Let's see if he oh, no! Why is he not using the Baneling? Oh, that's so many Banelings and so many lings.
Well, he's going to lose this 3rd base, but he's going to lose Gerd's 1st base as well. They're going to trade bases at this point. It doesn't matter at this stage. But Bane is going into the natural, detonating on a few things.
I don't think that's the best place to morph into Banelings while Kingz is
there. It's gonna be fine though. It's gonna flank all the links. Oh, that's a wonderful connection.
And look at Gerd's base. He's doing counter-attack damage.
Yeah.
And he's gonna win this ling fight.
It's not GG yet, but like that's a lot of damage from Blackxored. And he's still like ahead on drones, like it has been all this time.
So it's quite interesting because Gerd is moving into roaches at this point, and 2 base roaches is not exactly the best thing to do because they're just slow and they can't really stack to the amount that you need to counter lings. So I wonder if Black is going to win by just continuously to produce lings at this stage.
So,
because 2 base roaches is not the best of builds.
Ling is killing off the Baneling, that's a shame. But yeah, he sees the roaches now, so he should know he should back off and like just get his roach for another.
For sure.
He's not going into roaches himself, so yeah, there's no roach for Blackxored. So
I think there's a case to be made that if he's behind in roaches, he should just keep making lings while he has a 3rd base lead. But with the 3rd coming down now, he'll have to transition eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 Banelings going to natural, but there's no drones.
Yeah, and there was only one that survived to the mineral land. So.
And finally a roach one coming out now for Black.
Exactly, he did invest that extra drone lead into buildings now though, so he did go down a bit in drones.
I think Black's going to be in a lot of trouble from this counter attack because the lings are moving across the map again to attack the 3rd base. There's no units back at home and no roaches out yet because the roach one isn't even done.
He splits up half the lings to go home. And then I guess he's gonna try to save it, but I don't think he can.
Yeah, this can't be saved.
But because that spine is gonna take so long to go down, and then even when it does, like it won't be enough to deal with like 6 roaches.
Yep, spine crawler gonna go down.
Yeah.
And this third base is forfeits. Oh, banelings.
Yeah.
Those were okay connections, but not really that great.
Yeah. He's gonna trade out the third of his opponent at the back of this thing. No, never mind.
Oh, he holds.
No.
He's gonna be in a
couple
huge
of
lead now.
came in and defended pretty well.
But yeah, these roaches trade so effectively in these low numbers against the lings.
Oh, no.
The rally points, you can't fight these.
Exactly, he needed to back off for that.
And yeah, with more roaches and the third base leads, he looks like he's going to win this game quite convincingly.
One roach in the roach army, like, that was like so funny. But yeah, this is at this point, probably pretty GG, so like.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Black was so aggressive in the early stages, because he was going to have less units since his opponent got the earlier spawning pool and the earlier baning nest. And he attacked anyway and lost all his units and was behind ever since in this game by 10 supply or so.
Yeah, he did.
And he's just going to mop up here.
Yeah.
There's very little they can counter this amount of roaches.
He did. But yeah, maybe it was like you said, he was like not completely warmed up before this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now we're going to wait for Black to give up.
Like, potentially maybe clean this up, but he's like too far behind.
No, not even.
No, alright.
It's when you have the same units, it's just so difficult to come back when you're behind when Roach versus Roach, because one more Roach you'll just win the fight, and when you have 5 more Roaches and double the amount of Roaches in supply, you're gonna just wade through every single wave of units that pops out.
Yeah, indeed.
There's very little you can do about it.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, let's see here. The second map is gonna be mech default, so try to get into that. Let's game up.
Is that a PVZ on Mech Depot?
Yes, it is.
I think that map's quite hard for Protoss, to be honest. There's a lot of counter-attack angles, and I find it very difficult with Mech on that map, specifically. And it's quite wide open in the middle as well, which is very difficult for the Protoss to deal with.
Yeah, because the Protoss army is not really actually that mobile, and it will take ages for them to go and counter, if anything on that. Well, we might see some Phoenix play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Right, I'm missing you still leader there. And then I'm missing our player as well, for that matter.
Most importantly.
Exactly. Where is Alexander at? Something game or?
He's not online, I don't think.
No? He was online earlier. I swear he was.
He's muted on TeamSpeak.
Because we were gonna go and do a little bit of replay with him.
Did you bully him into going offline, Didar, with your new troll that you made for him? Do you feel ashamed that we're now going to have to forfeit this match because you bullied him away?
No, I'm actually quite glad. I don't feel ashamed. What are you on about? If I need to be ashamed, I need to have some sort of consciousness. But you know, it wasn't even that harsh.
We might need to make a quick substitute for Alexander if he's not here.
No, it's fine. It's fine. He's here. I'm just not.
Yeah, he's here.
I'm talking to him on TeamSpeak. So he is here. He's just maybe not in game yet.
No, he's not in game.
Probably playing CS:GO to warm up. To get that rage going.
So.
Oh, he's online.
Nice. Invite to game. There we are.
So Dansible, how's your
Yes.
what are you doing with yourself with all the free time? You're not working anymore now.
I went swimming today, and
As you do.
as you
Yeah.
do, well, I go
Yeah.
swimming to exercise. It's a good way to exercise. What's wrong with
Okay.
that? It's good for stamina building.
Yeah,
And
but you know, most kids our age, you know, they play football and play team games.
team games. Do you play football on the weekends
I
or
play
the
rugby,
weekdays?
twice a month, but that's pretty much it.
Twice a month.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
very active.
Yeah. They refuse to do it any, you know, more frequently.
Why don't you go swimming then? Then you can go whenever you want on your own.
I live about half an hour drive away from my house to the next swimming pool. I do it on whenever I go to the gym, but it's usually because it's summer. It's just overcrowded at the moment, and the water is very, very warm.
Mine's a sports swimming pool, so it's very cool. The water deliberately.
Oh yeah, see.
Yeah.
And you don't sweat when you're swimming as well because it's nice and cool and it's all watery. And you can't really feel it because you're surrounded by water, even if you do sweat.
You sweat and you feel it. Well, I feel it anyway.
Yeah. Do you guys want to take the introductions away?
Sure. Yes. Spawning to the bottom left, we have Pro Danny. Danny's a great name.
Indeed,
you know,
indeed.
Short for Daniela.
Danny boy.
Dansible.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing your name is Dan Dansible.
No. How would you guess that?
I don't know. You just said that it's a good name. And spawning in the top right corner.
Complete coincidence.
Playing as Zerk and representing Team Tor, it is our own Beatles lookalike, Alexander.
Bye.
Hi.
Alright.
I like to imagine that Pro decided that they were going to call themselves Pro and then realised that it had already been pinched by someone, so they had to put a fancy O that no one can type into a keyboard unless you live in Scandinavia.
This is, by the way, very aggressive from the pros player, I guess. Wouldn't you say, Dansible, with double gas?
Double gas is unusual. Yeah,
Before
it's quite
cyber,
aggressive.
like... But it's only like saturating with 2 on each. Like...
It's 2 in gas, so it'll be a 2 gateway adept then. It won't be a fast tech rush after the cybernetic score. It'll be adepts first for sure.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah.
But hatch first coming out for the Zerg player, which isn't the greediest he could do. He could have gone 3 hatch before pull, which this would have gone a lot better against.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this does. This is very unusual. People used to do this at the start of Legacy of the Void, and it sort of got phased out over time. And now no one really does this in competitive play. So, yeah, it's an unusual build to face. And I wonder if Alexander will even scout it, because it's unusual to even send your Overlord to the natural.
Yeah.
Could this be a 2-base adept all-in?
It's not an all-in. He's going to expand behind this.
Yeah.
No, 2-base adept.
You can't kill someone with 2 gateways because he's just, as you can see, the Nexus is coming down. It's just an aggressive opening, which I think he's done wrong, because I think you build the Adepts before the Nexus.
Yeah. Because, well,
or whatever order he wants to do it in. It's fine
like,
for Alexander.
Do you usually take double gas though for this? Like
no, definitely not.
Take one? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because that was what I was confused about. I thought he was gonna do like some like really early Stargate tech or something like that.
Yeah.
Took so much gas. But yeah.
I think the one-base Stargates don't really work against Protoss because Zerg is just naturally building queens at that stage of the game anyway.
Yeah.
They don't really need to build spores to win or lose, unlike Terran that doesn't even have 6 Marines by the time.
Yeah, did you see the games
Oracle comes.
Classic was playing against Solar, I think it was, and then it was Classic versus Dark also. Like basically he's doing this build that Has was doing, like where he masses Oracle.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny, like to look at, like when you see those Oracle coming in and debating down a hatchery when they're supposed to be like harassing light units. Yeah.
I think it's like it's the same as like massing Hellions as well.
Robo, yeah.
Oh, that is weird.
This is so weird. What is
let's
it
put
even
this
gonna build? Like,
Alright, so what happened in this game was he built 2 gateways, didn't attack with them, he just sat in his base, and then went 2 Robo after getting a late Nexus. So, very funky builds. But a Baneling Nest is not what you want against this at all, because Immortals do not get countered by Banelings, as you can imagine.
Yeah, true. But like,
yeah,
can
this
you
is why
even
he really needs to
support
scout.
double Robo production on 2 base? Like,
No,
you have to
you
take 4
can't.
guesses, like...
I think you can do double Robo and nothing else on 1 base, but literally nothing else. You can't build a single gateway unit. So maybe you can build a few gateway units, but you can't 7 gate all in off this, especially since he's not building probes. He's just stopped at 4 at his natural and isn't really building any.
Road 4 coming down though for Alexander, so that's a good thing for him at least.
Very good.
He does have an Overlord at the 3rd place location and one outside the main, so he might choose to go in later for the scout if he doesn't see.
He has scouted this. He's seen 2 Robos, yeah.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, you saw 2. He's in vision of the 2nd one that built after the 1st one.
Ah, okay, alright. Yeah.
But yeah. I think this is going to get cleaned up by Alexander. I mean, 22 lings against this small number, like, this really starts powering up with the Warp Prism when you start warping in the next wave of units, but if you catch it before it reaches your base, that's when it's most powerful. There's already a wave of units on the way for Alexander. I think he's in a decent position to hold this.
Yeah, indeed.
And very interesting positioning on that Mothership core as well.
Yeah, now he sees it incoming here as well, so like, he will be able to go up and clean that up before the Warpism even gets there. So
yeah,
oh, this is gonna be easy.
With the force fields.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that was well done.
Well, that's GG. Next game.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that though. Like,
this is the problem with this build, because you need the gateways to reinforce. Because what he did was he's built 2 Robos, and the second you move out of your base, you can no longer reinforce your army anymore. So the Immortals you have is all you're going to get. And you're supposed to build 2 Immortals and then make 7 gateways and then all in, and then warp in 7 adepts at a time and really hammer hone and keep the all in going for several minutes. But he's just stuffed in this game. He doesn't even have any probes at natural.
I also think the trouble is the wall in the Protoss base is it's his production units, and if he does go for the Bane bust, and he gets all the production.
Yeah.
There's no gates in his main. Really, there should be more.
Yeah.
He baits out the overcharge.
He really shouldn't be attacking here, because Protoss is never going to take a 3rd base in his life. So Alexander can just take a 4th base and just win the game. And he's already on Lair Tech. He's getting his Hydro Den already, and double Evo is on the way. He's got everything going for him. He just needs to sit outside his base and just never attack, and just wait for the Protoss to kill himself by walking across the map with what few units he has. But as you can see now, he's starting to build sentries, which is what he should have done at the start of that fight last time. He only had 1 sentry, which is why he only had 2 force fields to force field that ramp.
Yeah.
Instead of what he needed to. But
Yeah.
here we go. This is the final push of the game, so we'll see what this gets done. But
I mean, if
still,
he starts triple Stargate here, it's not going to surprise me at all, because I have no idea what's going on here with the Protoss player.
Yeah, true. Like,
I mean,
like
it's
could. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, you go ahead.
Like, I was just gonna say, like, this could be strong if executed correctly, but like, oh, well, he even cancelled warp in there, and like, but yeah, since he has a good Remorna count, if you try to go Troches to defend versus this, but since it's Ling Bane, this is gonna be a lot stronger. I think.
Well, we'll see how long these force fields can hold off the Banelings, but in the end of the day, there's nothing to counter them. Ah! Everything gets kept through. There's a flank even from the south as well, and that's going to be it.
That's the game, for sure.
Oh wait, the Immortals live? Or they don't?
Oh, he doesn't have the back off here.
Oh, they're so low.
The next wave will clear it up.
Oh,
there we are.
Yeah, indeed.
And that's all you have to do after the Protoss fails a 2-base loading. You just wait for him to suicide across the map and win the game. You don't need to Bane bust his natural. And with Lurkers on the way, he's a head in tech as well. So we'll just... There we are.
GG, well played. Alexander bringing it back to 1-1 for Tall. Hype.
Alright.
Let's
That Protoss had 100 APM.
Even I have higher than that. And I'm
Even I
on
have higher
low
than that.
APM. Let's see here. The next map is gonna be, let's see here, Ascension to Ire. It's gonna be your Kimaro versus Storakles. Let's see here, where is there's game, huh?
Okay.
It's there. Kingz, then we just need Storakles as well.
So yes, Didar, what have you been up to in your day since you asked me?
I've been working.
Working.
I started work yesterday in my new job, my new place. Today I already told you one of the systems broke down, so we couldn't do our job. So the boss decided to take me to the pub, take the team to the pub, and introduce myself, because we'll be working together for the next 5 to 6 months.
Yeah. Do you get a holiday as part of your contract?
I get a half a day, a holiday a week, paid.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I can take a holiday, I'll take a day off anytime I like, as long as it's okay with my boss. But I'm not gonna get paid for it. But if I want to get paid holiday, I need to accrue it. It's usually half a day a week.
Half a day a week, so that's 2 a month.
Yeah.
You accumulate. That's not that bad as a contractor.
Okay. Yeah. It's paid as well, so it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I was thinking, like, as a contractor, you might have to just, not work as your holiday, like in between contracts. Just take a month off would be your holiday.
It's usually, depends where you work. And some banks, some places do that, but I would never work for those places. The top places, they have a pretty good package.
Yeah.
As long as you do your work, as long as you do your hours.
Do you get as a contractor? Do you get healthcare with the firm as well,
No,
like private health insurance?
No. I'm not staff. I'm not allowed to join any clubs. I'm not allowed any benefits. I'm employed by an agency that sort of loans me to the place that I work on. Yeah, nothing. That's why I get paid the big bucks. I get nothing.
Well, the government's cutting down on workplace freebies, so they're taxing them more, so they're less likely to have them these days as well.
Well, that's bad news for me, because that means they'll get to cut the contractors, and I like to be a contractor.
Another ZVZ joy.
Yeah. Indeed.
Said the 3 Terran players. Who's casting this?
Indeed.
Right, spawning to the bottom right, we have Storakles.
Bye.
Someone that stays in the game, regardless of whether he's lost or not, till the very end. For hours sometimes.
The one and only. Alright, and in the top left corner, we got Mr. Ricky Maro representing Pro. Bye.
How do you pronounce the O, if it's a Scandinavian O?
That's, but I don't know, that's not a part of Swedish language. Maybe it's Norwegian or something. I don't know. I don't use.
I think it's Latin.
Swedish.
I'm not sure.
Latin.
I think it's Latin.
It's not Latin. I don't think so.
Are
you sure it's Latin?
Enough to be Latin. It looks weird enough to be Latin. I'm sorry.
I thought it was Scandinavian. I was almost certain that it was.
Yeah, I think it is it's some of the Scandinavian countries, but it's not Sweden that uses that. We got dots above our O's instead. That's one of our.
Okay.
And,
oh yes.
Yeah, same with over A. We also have, which is pronounced A, and dots over O is pronounced So yeah. And then it's also run a ring over the A as well, which is O. So yeah. That's the Swedish ones that are different from ordinary English. And there's
Very interesting.
In Kazakhstan, our line is not diagonal; it's a cross. It's horizontal, so it's definitely not Arabic or Kazakh or any of it. I'm still sticking with Latin.
Yeah, it might be.
Yep.
I don't understand what Pro. I'm sure what this is that Pro all get together on Fridays and they discuss what builds they like, and they've all decided that pull first into hatch is the build they do. Because there's no reason to do this. He even drone scouted, for goodness sake. Like, what's the point of drone scouting when you went pull first? Yeah. It's like when you're going. It's like when you go 12 pool and you drone scout to make sure he's not cheesing you. It's like, what's the point? And another fast bailiness as well. But this is good for Storakles. He's making a spine crawler as natural, and he's not taking a third base. So if he techs up to a lair or something, or as I say that, he takes his third, whatever. This spine crawler is going to be useless in this situation. But yeah, this time what is his name? Ricky. Let's call him. Ricky is actually cheesing. He's not taking a third base as the last player from the clan did. He's actually fully committing to this and not droning the natural, and he's going to be rallying lings across the map non-stop from now on.
And
Storakles is not best prepared.
But there is a bailing.
Well, he recognized that there is no third.
It's not
with his overlords. He decided to take a third himself.
Oh no, this is gonna be really strong. He needs to get... Yeah, he scouts it now, he gets the queen to the ramp, I guess. No?
Yeah, he could hold with the 2 queens and the spine crawler. He needs to cancel this third base because it's never going to get up in a million years. But when the banelings come in for Ricky, that's when the hurt is going to come, because the baneliness still isn't done for Storakles, and no amount of lings is going to stop those banelings coming in right now. And they're moving in, and he's going to hit that spine crawler perhaps and get the queens as well, and that's going to really turn the tide in this battle. I think he's still going to win Storakles with these lings.
Yeah, exactly. That was a bit of a waste of the baneling.
But he does get all the queens though, and he's not going to have any production behind this now that all the queens are dead. He's making 2 queens now to desperately catch up.
He does have like a baneling tech now, so he could morph banelings at home to actually defend that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he still has the third base as well, and more drones, so he can build more if he had the production to do so.
Indeed.
It's still not over for Storakles. He can still hold this third base if he's lucky, but he's going to engage the lings, which is not the best of plans without the banelings, which come in now.
Yeah, exactly.
But he needs to be so careful he doesn't get surrounded, because these lings are so massing in number.
Yeah, exactly.
Only the banelings can turn this
Storakles has a lot of lings as well, so...
Yeah, running away from the banelings now.
Inside.
This is a good trade for Storakles. Yeah. A queen for all those lings. Very good trade.
No, it didn't actually use banelings.
No, those were good connections.
Yeah. And like, Storakles is almost doubling the drones of his opponent, so...
Yeah. If you look at the supply now, the economy lead is starting to catch up with him, with the drones, the natural that he has.
Indeed.
But yeah, Ricky has no choice. He has to keep rallying across the map and hoping something happens. That baneling could kill all the lings!
Yeah, that was a big connection.
And yeah, just like that, the army supply is even in this game, and he's still running across the map, and there's no banelings for either player. If he gets a good trade of these lings, he could capitalize on that, but he's going to go for the third base.
Yeah, he does have
try and equalize. Oh, he splits the lings. That's really bad for Ricky.
Yeah.
Half the lings attack the hatchery, while the other half attack the lings.
Yeah. But yeah, Ricky is just continuing to commit to this, so like Storakles
he has no choice.
Like more and more ahead for every minute.
That baneling doesn't hit much at all, which is really good for Storakles.
And there is more lings now for Storakles than his opponent.
Yeah, I don't know where that baneling went for Storakles. There's a baneling in his natural just chilling there, I think, that moved in there. Up the ramp there.
It's just in case it goes up the or like he tries to run by into the ramp.
Oh.
Take out those slings, take out those.
It's so scary to fight on top of these banelings like this. They're actually going to pop just after he leaves.
Yeah.
They're going to come up the ramp. One baneling hit could still win the game for Ricky if he's clever about this. Oh!
No! Storakles, he's making us.
He's making this too close.
He's all like...
But there's still not enough lings. I think Storakles is still going to clear this, even with that. The economy lead is just too strong for him.
Exactly.
But yeah, Storakles now moving into Roach War, and as soon as he gets Roaches out, this game will be over for Ricky completely, because those Roaches will trade so cost effectively against these lings.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just running around in circles.
He should actually try to zone in the links into the main, because then he can get a massive Bendy connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky's doing a
here
good
it
job of
comes.
this.
Oh no, he's
That whiffs.
on a bit too early.
But yeah, Ricky's doing decently. He did pick up another queen, which is limiting the production, which is the main issue. And he's trying to pick off this third base now. The Dunnings are going to come in to try and save it. And Starcraft is counterattacking with his own lings, but there's nothing to counterattack. I don't understand that choice for him.
Yeah,
but it's going to be the game anyway.
Yep.
GG.
GG, well played from Storakles. Yeah.
What a crazy games we've got so far today. They're very quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the Master League.
Yeah. So next game is gonna be a CVT. It's gonna be Nick from us playing versus Frosty, it's called, the Zerg player.
Finally.
We have 3 Zerg players and 1 Protoss. No Terrans. But lucky enough, we have a Terran. I was gonna go crazy otherwise if I would have to cast another CVC here.
The endangered species, Terran,
exactly.
rises.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just hosting it up now. Alright, so that brings us to 2-1 then.
One more win. One
Indeed.
more win.
Let's see here, there's that guy. Then I'm gonna invite you to as well. Just gonna update the score as well. Oh, rip.
Rip. What happened?
What's happened here?
Apparently their last player couldn't come, he said. Alright, sad times. That means that we're gonna be ending it here. We're gonna get a walkover for the last match and take it 3-1 then. Because the player couldn't join in.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I was looking forward to casting a CVT here. And then they were just like not showing up.
Oh, that's so unfair.
Indeed.
I was looking forward to watch the Terran. Oh, okay.
Alright. But yeah, I guess we'll have to do with a win there then. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Diamond Squad has a break this week, so it's not gonna be a match tomorrow. But we'll be having one on Tuesday and one on Wednesday next week. So tune into that. Thanks guys for coming and cast with me. You want to say anything before we head off?
Nope.
Alright. With that, we say goodnight for today.
Good night.